The regulatory burden here is genuinely light by industry standards, which is part of why private equity noticed the space in the first place. At the federal level, the Environmental Protection Agency governs the disposal side under the Clean Water Act. Every drop of waste your truck pumps out of every unit has to be deposited at a licensed wastewater treatment facility. That is not optional. That is not a gray area. That is the single most consequential compliance obligation in this business. And later in this video, we will show you precisely what happens when a company decides it is negotiable. At the state level, you need a liquid waste hauler or septic pumper permit from your state Department of Health or Environmental Quality. Costs $200 to $1,000 per year. Processing timeline, 30 to 90 days. Some states require a separate permit per vehicle. If you want to serve festivals or large infrastructure projects that cross state lines, you need to track the permit status in each jurisdiction. This is an administrative function, not a legal specialty. At the local level, a standard business license costs under $100. Your units on active construction sites are subject to OSHA placement standards. 1 unit per 50 workers for shifts under 8 hours, 1 per 25 for all-day shifts. Your customer manages the headcount on site. You show up on schedule to service the units they ordered, the ANSI Z4. 3 standard sets minimum requirements for portable toilet design, construction, and sanitation performance. Almost every unit you buy from an established manufacturer already meets it. You are not designing the toilet. You are buying it, deploying it, cleaning it, and collecting the check. Total timeline to operational compliance for a single state startup, 60 to 120 days, almost entirely spent waiting on the liquid waste hauler permit. Compare that to obtaining a food service license, a medical practice license, or any financial services registration. The gauntlet here is short. The real barrier is capital and logistics, not bureaucracy. You do not have to build from scratch. The portable toilet rental space currently has a substantial number of owner-operators in their 50s and 60s who built their businesses in the 1990s and 2000s, who have no clear succession plan, and who will sell to someone with a credible offer before they sell to a competitor who will lowball them. BizQuest currently lists regional portable sanitation businesses with 30-year operating histories generating over $310,000 in annual cash flow for purchase prices in the $600,000 to $900,000 range. The equipment is already running. The contracts are already signed. The service routes are already optimized by someone who has been driving them for a decade. This is precisely the path RF Investment Partners took with Rent-A-John and each acquisition since. You are not acquiring a startup. You are acquiring a cash-generating operation that the previous owner grew tired of running at 5:30 in the morning. You pay a multiple on EBITDA, typically 3 to 5 times for a small private operator in this sector, and you inherit the customers, the routes, the trucks, and the disposal agreements. The critical due diligence items are the physical condition of the units, the transferability of the wastewater disposal contract with the local treatment plant, and the concentration risk of the customer base. None of those require a specialist. All of them are discoverable before you close. Here is the simplest possible explanation of how this business makes money. You buy a box, you rent the box, you clean the box, and you never stop doing those 3 things until someone tells you to come pick up the box. The average standard portable toilet rents for $160 per month on a long-term construction contract, including weekly service visits. That $160 is not a one-time transaction. It does not require a salesperson to reclose it every month. The construction company ordered the units at the start of a project and keeps them until the project ends. A typical residential build runs 6 to 18 months. A commercial or infrastructure project runs 3 to 5 years. Assign your first unit a cost of $700. At $160 per month in rental revenue, that unit pays for itself in 4.5 months. Every month after that is gross contribution. A 20-unit fleet at full utilization generates $3,200 per month, $3,400 per year. Your main operating costs are the truck payment, diesel, the wastewater disposal fee at the treatment plant, typically $15 to $25 per load, and labor if you have hired a driver. A solo operator running 20 units can generate modest profit, not a lifestyle, a foundation. Scale to 500 units across 3 service routes, and the math compounds entirely. United Site Services, the largest national portable sanitation provider in the country, before its December 2025 bankruptcy filing, operated 350,000 units serving 70,000 customers across more than 100 locations. The revenue generation at that scale is not complicated. What broke it was not the units. We will get to that. In January 2026, CNBC profiled a 31-year-old named Daniel Tom, who started Bay Area Sanitation in 2023, with 1 truck and 100 portable toilets deployed across the San Francisco Bay Area. In 2024, Bay Area Sanitation brought in $3.1 million in revenue. In 2025, the company generated $4.3 million, operating nearly 2,000 units serviced by 12 vacuum pumper trucks. 2 years from founding to $4.3 million, Tom describes it as a low-tech, AI-proof business. He is not wrong on either count. Diamond Environmental Services LP was a San Marcos, California-based portable toilet operator that ran what appeared from the outside to be a legitimate and growing regional sanitation business. What it was actually running, beginning as far back as 2009 and continuing until July 2016, was a waste disposal scheme. Instead of transporting portable toilet waste to licensed wastewater treatment facilities, the company's trucks were pumping waste directly into municipal sewer connections at Diamond's own facilities. The economics were simple. Legitimate disposal costs $15 to $40 per load depending on the market. If your trucks run 4 or 5 loads per day and you pay $0 instead of $25 per load, you are banking approximately $100 per truck per day versus your compliant competitors. Across multiple vehicles over multiple years, those avoided fees added up to millions of dollars. The company then fraudulently billed the municipalities as if proper disposal had occurred, which is how the mail fraud charge was added to the Clean Water Act violation. They were not just dumping illegally. They were invoicing customers for legal disposal they were not performing. The scheme unraveled during a federal investigation. Among the documents recovered during search warrant execution was a diagram drawn by the company's own operations safety and compliance manager, Ronald Fabor, age 55. The diagram showed the company's waste hoses connected directly to sewer lines. Fabor had labeled the connection himself, in his own handwriting, to the sewer lines. When Fabor appeared before a federal grand jury, he testified under oath that he had never seen the company's trucks hooked up to illegal connections, and that the first time he heard about any dumping was the day the company received the search warrant. Prosecutors showed the grand jury his diagram. He was convicted in 2017 on 2 counts of perjury and placed on 5 years of probation with a $500 fine. Owner Ari Eric DeJong III pled guilty on June 1, 2017 to conspiring to violate the Clean Water Act. A federal judge sentenced DeJong to 5 months in federal prison, 3 years of probation, and a fine. The 3 defendants combined were ordered to pay $2.64 million in fines and $2. $25 million in restitution to 5 sanitation agencies that had been defrauded out of disposal revenue. Diamond Environmental Services LP separately pled guilty to mail fraud and was ordered to forfeit between $1.3 and $4. $1 million in proceeds from the illegal activity. The compliance manager drew the diagram. The owner served 5 months. The company paid nearly $5 million in combined penalties. The 5 sanitation agencies that thought they were receiving proper waste for processing were paid back for work they never had to do, because the waste had been going into an unsanctioned drain the entire time. The Diamond Environmental case is a story about a small operator choosing the cheapest path and losing everything to it. The United Site Services story is the structural opposite, a sophisticated institutional roll-up that chose the most expensive path and lost even more. Platinum Equity, a Los Angeles-based private equity firm, acquired United Site Services in 2017 and spent the following 4 years building it into the largest national portable sanitation platform in the country through aggressive acquisition. In 2021, Platinum attempted to sell the business. When a straightforward sale did not materialize at the desired valuation, Platinum structured a continuation fund, a private equity vehicle in which existing fund investors cash out and new external investors buy in, keeping the company under the same manager. Fortress Investment Group, Ares Management, and Blackstone served as anchor investors. The transaction valued United Site Services at $4 billion. Fortress, Ares, and Blackstone committed $1. $4 billion in new equity. Total funded debt at close, approximately $2.8 billion. Then several things happened at the same time. The Federal Reserve began its rate hiking cycle in 2022. Elevated mortgage rates drove U.S. housing starts from a peak of approximately 1.8 million units in 2021 down to roughly 1.3 million in 2023, where they remain suppressed through 2024 and into 2025. Construction activity, which United Site Services' own bankruptcy filings stated accounted for more than 70% of its revenue, declined. Debt service costs rose as financing costs increased. Inflation drove up diesel prices, labor costs, and supply chain inputs. The revenue base contracted at the same time the cost to carry the debt expanded. United Site Services filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in New Jersey on December 29, 2025. The filing sought to eliminate $2.4 billion of its $2.8 billion in funded debt by handing ownership to senior lenders. Platinum Equity's entire equity stake was wiped out. The continuation fund equity, the $1.4 billion that Fortress, Ares, and Blackstone had committed in 2021, was also completely eliminated. 3 of the largest and most sophisticated financial institutions in the world lost a combined $1.4 billion on portable toilets. The restructuring plan went effective on March 3, 2026. United Site Services still operates. Its 350,000 units are still deployed. Its 70,000 customers are still being serviced. The $4 billion valuation was always a financial construct. The toilets were always real. Rule 1. The waste disposal contract is not an afterthought. Before you buy your first truck, call the wastewater treatment plant that serves your operating area. Confirm they accept portable toilet waste. Confirm the per load rate. Get it in writing. This sounds like basic diligence. Eric DeJong decided the whole step was optional and served 5 months in federal prison for it. Rule 2. Do not lever the business above 2 to 3 times EBITDA. Platinum Equity put United Site Services into a continuation vehicle with debt that represented 6 to 7 times earnings at the time of the 2021 transaction. The construction cycle turned. The rate cycle turned. Both turned simultaneously. There was no margin to absorb either. The business was always sound. The capital structure was not. Rule 3. Construction revenue is a contract, not a relationship. A general contractor who represents 20% of your revenue is a credit risk that belongs in a spreadsheet, not a handshake agreement. When the housing market stalls, your largest customer does not slow down. He stops returning calls, cancels the units, and moves on. The units sit in your yard, generating no revenue while your truck payment stays the same. Rule 4. If anyone in your organization suggests that disposing of waste in a manner other than a licensed treatment facility is a cost-saving opportunity, that person is not offering you a margin improvement. They are offering you a federal indictment. The economics look clean for exactly as long as they go undetected. They eventually go detected. The single biggest existential threat to a portable toilet rental business is not fraud, not excessive debt, and not a competitor with a newer fleet. It is construction sector cyclicality, and the numbers make this specific. USS's own December 2025 bankruptcy filing identified weakening construction demand as a primary driver of its financial distress, noting that construction accounted for more than 70% of its revenue. The company had over $2.8 billion in funded debt and a business model that moved in direct correlation with housing starts. When housing starts moved down, the business moved down. The debt did not move with it. For context on the market you are entering, the global portable toilet rental market was valued at approximately $21 to $22 billion in 2024, with North America contributing roughly $5.4 billion. Industry analysts project a compound annual growth rate of approximately 7.5% through 2033. On the basis of infrastructure investment, population-driven construction demand in developing markets, and the continued professionalization of outdoor event management, that growth trajectory is real. The timing on any individual cycle is not guaranteed. The operators most insulated from construction cyclicality are the ones who have diversified revenue toward events, festivals, sporting events, concerts, public gatherings, political rallies. A standard portable toilet that rents for $160 per month on a construction site rents for $230 to $399 for a single weekend event. That is 1 to 2.5 months of construction revenue in a 48-hour deployment. The event calendar is its own kind of volatile, but it does not track the 30-year fixed mortgage rate. Construction and events move on different cycles. Owning both smooths the business considerably. Time to pull it all together and answer the actual question. How much money do you actually make if you do this right? Scenario 1 is the small independent operator. You spend $250,000 acquiring an established going concern, 75 units on active construction contracts, 1 service truck with a working vacuum system, existing routes, existing wastewater disposal agreement, and a customer base that has paid on time for 3 years. The seller is 61 years old and wants to retire. The purchase price represents roughly 3 times trailing EBITDA. You financed it with $100,000 in equity and a $150,000 SBA loan at approximately 7% over 10 years. Revenue: 75 units at $160 per month average on base contracts is $144,000 per year. Add weekend event bookings and occasional luxury trailer rentals, and you reach $175,000 to $190, $0 per year in total revenue. Operating costs: truck loan payment at $200 per month, diesel at $1,500 per month, wastewater disposal fees at $1,500 per month, commercial liability and vehicle insurance at $600 per month, chemicals and supplies at $400 per month, software at $200 per month. Total monthly operating expense, $5,700. Annual, $68,400. SBA loan service, approximately $750 per month, $21,000 per year. Net operating income before your own compensation, roughly $85,000 to $100,000. Take $60,000 as salary. Reinvest $25,000 to $40,000 annually into new units. At that reinvestment rate, you add 35 to 55 units per year. At 150 units, your revenue base doubles and your truck is already paid for. Debt payback period on the acquisition loan: approximately 7 years under conservative assumptions, 5 if the construction market cooperates. Scenario 2 is the regional platform play. You spend $2. $5 million acquiring 2 established regional operators in adjacent markets. A total of 400 units, 3 service trucks, established customer bases in a mid-sized metro area. Revenue at full utilization: $960,000 in base construction rentals, plus $250,000 to $400,000 in events, luxury trailers and specialty deployments, municipal contracts, disaster response staging, large infrastructure projects. Total gross, $1.2 to $1.4 million. Operating costs at this scale: labor becomes your largest line item. 4 drivers, 1 dispatcher, 1 route manager, and your own time represent roughly $400,000 in payroll. Fleet maintenance, insurance, disposal fees, chemicals, and software, $280,000 to $320,000. Debt service on the acquisition financing, $175,000 to $225,000 per year depending on structure. Net income before reinvestment, $275,000 to $400,000 annually. Total investment payback, 7 to 9 years under realistic assumptions. What you do not include in either scenario is $2.8 billion in funded debt. That variable alone is the entire lesson of United Site Services. The underlying business generated real revenue, served real customers, and ran 350,000 real units for years. The equipment worked, the routes ran. The company went bankrupt anyway, because someone decided it was worth $4 billion and financed it accordingly. It was not worth $4 billion. It was worth whatever its cash flows supported at a reasonable multiple. That number was much smaller, and it was always available for anyone willing to do the math. You started this video wanting to buy a portable toilet rental company because you thought it was recession-proof. It is. The toilets kept running every single day through Platinum Equity's entire implosion. Waste went to the treatment plant every morning while the restructuring lawyers were billing $900 an hour to argue about who owned the residual equity. The business never stopped. Fortress, Ares, and Blackstone lost $1.4 billion on something that Daniel Tom started in 2023 with 1 truck and 100 units, and that you can enter today for $60,000 if you are willing to spend your mornings the way Tom spends his. If you want to see how the money actually flows in the businesses that do not end up in bankruptcy court or federal prison, subscribe. We cover a new one every week.